Sunday night we get the message from Ron, it's like, holy shit, I didn't know I needed a visa. We've missed the flight. And then applied for it and said it could take up to 72 hours. If it had taken 72 hours, then Zennon and I were trying to think about how many chefs in New Zealand look like Ron.
Yeah, I mean, today was a little bit easier. We all started at 12 instead of 9 yesterday. We all knew the movements that we all had to do. Is there enough portioned pieces? Oh, we didn't enough yesterday, no? Ron was more familiar with the kitchen. What's up, bro? Yeah. Is that Alan P?
Oh yeah.
Take a minute for your pie. Just.
Oh my God.
We were more familiar with where we all needed to be in regards to our, our positions, and yeah, came in, smashed out some jobs. Goes on a coffee. I greet the team, find out how their morning was, make them a coffee, and then we go through the day. Do you not do that in France?
There are quite a few restaurants that shut out of ego, refuse to adapt, don't make the adjustments. And after COVID, we realized we had to make a lot of adjustments and pivot where you can. We stayed true to our philosophy, but it's not easy.
Well, the whole game's changed. Back in the, less than probably 10 years ago, you got Chef of the Year, 3 hats, whatever, you'd be fully booked for 6 months.
Yep.
And yes, it's been amazing, but we still got to just create our own opportunities, right? And that's what we've always done.
That's it, meringue's good. Thomas, we got to do peas. Yep. Especially in the last 10 years, I feel like you can skyrocket to the top of hospo. But what we would recommend is that there are those building block core years where you learn how to manage stress, manage people, you're with different personalities. And if you do skyrocket and you're starting to run a kitchen at 25, you're going to have to teach yourself discipline. That's difficult.
Yeah, so the dish that is second course tonight from Paris Butter, beautiful Ora King salmon, arguably some of the best salmon in the whole world. Took the fillet, just lightly cured it, a little bit of dashi, salt, sugar, vacked it, then 54 degrees, just so it's just cooked, that beautiful pinkness still in there. We've just sliced that, and then that's going with the chickpea miso savion, aged meringue jelly, a little bit of ginger gel, so a lot of beautiful textures. Yeah, so it's a really cool product to use. So super fresh, slightly fatty, to lead into that next course.
I think as chefs, we don't live in the moment very often. We're always 2 or 3 steps ahead with our mise en place, with our planning, and also with our life. Something that I'd like to get better at.
Yeah, that's not a strong point for most chefs.
Yeah. Just down the road, we've got a beautiful garden. It's a community garden that we really try and embrace. It's stunning.
I wouldn't pick from the flowers here.
We'll get in trouble.
Picking some cosmos flowers, brother. And they're gonna go on our Ile Flottante dessert tonight. And normally it's a poached meringue on creme anglaise. We set a meringue that we make from elderflower. We set it on yuzu and elderflower syrup, which we turn into a bubble. Underneath that we have fermented strawberry sorbet, some fresh strawberries, and then almost like a creme catalan that we season with Lagavulin, which is a smoky whiskey. And if you put a whole flower, if you put this flower on a dish, it's not really delicious, it's not edible, but you start covering a dish in petals, it really brings to life what we find in the garden, gives it a cool textural component. When you eat them, sometimes they bring acidity. So it's really important that everything has its own reason for being on the dish, but it's a really good part of our story. Like if we were to walk through this garden and neglect the flowers, it's just a waste of our job.
Oh, thanks, mate.
So late last year, I tried to draw a box for myself. And the box that we drew is that we don't use anything that's ever been on a plane before. And once you define a box that you can draw your philosophy from, it actually became a lot easier. So we go local wherever possible, but we're also in that business of consistency. You know, when you get to a certain price point, people, they want perfection. So I think what chefs are getting better at doing is having a blueprint that's more flexible. Why are there apples all over the pretty flowers? Rookie, that was a rookie move. Fuck. Foraged a knife.
Awesome.
You want to go through those, man?
Yeah.
Separate them for us. I don't know if you boys feel the same way, but with every collab, there's a part in the beginning of the collab where you're organising and you're like, holy shit, what have I done? Like, it's just so overwhelming.
You come to a collab because you're asked to be there, and there's pressure there too because you have to perform and make sure, you know, it was a warranted ask at the end of the day too when you leave. Which was the issue with our visas happening, because there's tickets sold, there's people with expectations to be met, and that is a different sense of pressure as well.
After one of the last collabs we done, I was chatting to Zach, our sous chef, and I was like, who would you like to see come over next? And he just so happened to be on Ron's page. And he was like, how sick would it be if we could get Ron? And I was like, there's only one way to find out, man. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, it was a way of bringing flavor from back home here. So a bunch of different seaweeds from the East Coast and Nova Scotia. So there's sea truffle, sea lettuce, and some different kombus that we've toasted off and made into a paste. And then we turn that into a butter, and then we baste it all over the scampi tails. And then we're gonna roast that on the grill tonight with some rosemary that we urban foraged from someone's house that they don't need to know that we took it. It's New Zealand Wagyu, it's New Zealand strip. And then we roll that in a toasted kombu and burnt onion powder. A burnt carrot puree, which is just made from burning carrots hard. You get this really nice charred sweetness on it. And then an aromatic beef stew that we finished with like juniper berries and some cinnamon. Split that with a lobster oil, and the lobster oil is made from the lobsters back home from Prince Edward Island. So you get this like fatty, almost jus gras on the plate. That works really well, and then you just kind of make a mess and you eat it, get a little bit of everything.
So we've got 30 in the books tonight, so less tables than yesterday, a couple less people. Now that we all know the dishes, we're a lot more familiar. It's going to be a really fun night, as the second nights always are.
No, I just want to say thanks for welcoming me into your kitchen, guys, and making everything after the fucking visa situation is incredibly streamlined, and it's been fantastic. So working with you guys, and especially, I haven't had much time with you guys in the front, but I mean, last night was great.
Thanks for welcoming me back to the restaurant that used to be mine. You guys are awesome, and I know how hard it is to collabs, and the effort that you put in, especially you, Zach. I feel like you kind of brought this together, man.
You guys all done a fucking really great job last night. Everyone left really happy, lots of great feedback, so you should all be really proud of that. And you guys are a massive representation of what we do, so even you, Tom. Alice Bread went on 31A champion.
A service it's a symphony, it's an orchestra, and you're just playing a song, but you've practiced that song hours and hours and hours before.
This won't happen again next week, and if it did, it would be completely different. Having them leave with that memory of the night is probably, then we've done something right. I asked the guys in the kitchen before I came, what's the most classic old school Kiwi chip, and they said Bluebird, so these are Bluebird chips. So make a mess with the tartare and dip your chip in there. Trashy and classy at the same time. Yeah, awesome. Dig in, guys. One of the dishes that we're doing here with the venison tartare is kind of a trial run for a dish I want to do back home on another tasting menu. They aged it here for a little bit, a couple weeks, and then we take it off the bone and cure it, roast it on the charcoal grill, and then dice it up as a tartare with some pickled apple. My head chef back home, Rod, it's his recipe. It works great. So it's basically we take potato skins, some potato chips, and basically make like a velouté with it, like really thick. We put it in the gun and then it aerates it so it's nice and soft. And then we finish that with a smoked, cured and dried beef heart, and that gets grated all over the top. On the side of that is some bluebird potato chips, which I guess everyone in New Zealand knows. And I made a little powder from back home to go with that, with vinegar, Newfoundland sea salt, some caramelized onion, and some evergreen powder, which is made from different evergreens back home. So balsam fir, spruce tips, pine. So you kind of get a taste of land and sea on the potato chips. So, you know, a bit classy and trashy, but it's like a take on chips and dip.
So we take hapuka, we lightly salt it, then we cook it and roast it. On the very bottom is a hazelnut praline, savoury hazelnut praline, a couple of fresh baby corns, scallops, and vanjun, which is oxidized wine. Oxidized wine brings a really nice acidity to it, and we love to use nuts in place of cream and butter. Gives it nice richness without that heaviness.
Personally, I want all of our guys to leave work feeling handies and want to be here the next day. Like, I want them to want to be here. And I think it shows in the vibe in the kitchen. I mean, they're all happy. When you've got a restaurant full of happy staff, like,
you're doing something right.
Yeah, that's a win.
And I think we've taken a lot of inspiration about how Auckland used to do it. So they've got a great product, but then they got chefs involved and they took them around and they made the story about New Zealand. And so when Ron comes here, like, there's a lot we want to show him, and we want to enjoy everything that's outside of the restaurant too.
Last course is the pear, so beautiful pear ice cream made from pear juice and the usual suspects, miso compressed pear, candied macadamia nuts, macadamia cake made from macadamia oil. Then that's all sitting on top of a cumin yogurt. And then just on the away, that just gets hit with New Zealand summer truffles.
I mean, that was the definition of collaboration, really, from not just cooking, but travel, getting here, like coming, grabbing me at the airport, all those little things. It's just genuine. It's hospitality, which is the industry we're in, right? But sometimes hospitality is not just for the customers, it's for the people and the businesses that you work for and in.
Zennon and I, we used to pick collabs on food that we wanted to see, and we quickly realized that that was not what we wanted. And we knew Ron's food was going to be good, but he's an interesting guy. And we want to hang out with passionate people.
Passionate people,
and
that's
you know, we've had chats over the last couple of days which are absolute gold. Like, his food's outstanding, but we knew it was going to be. But it's all the rest. And you know, when you're in your own job, it's lonely sometimes. So it's really good to get an outside perspective and to see how other people are handling very similar situations in their own mind.
Yes, us three might be the faces of this dinner, but like, one of the reasons we didn't want to call it a six hands or whatever is because there's just so much more that go into it. The guys on the floor, just everything. the young chefs, kitchen hands.
But as soon as you talk to your staff and you listen to them, your food elevates quickly, and all of a sudden you've got a whole team collaborating on a menu instead of just one person, and it's a game changer.